The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
It's the Brandon Peters Show. It's the summer of 2015 at 10. It's Friday. It's time for another music video companion series installment. And the returning champion from the Saturday Evening Post and author of Marvel Comics for Dummies, Troy Brownfield.
Greetings, Brandon.
Greetings. All right, Troy, before we get into this today, this summer we've had a poll and we've been asking people because the next Summer of series, when we do it, we come back in 2026, is listener's choice. So they get to pick the year, but it's got to be between 1980 and 2009. Are there any particular years that you'd want to throw out for that?
Have you done 1984?
No, have not done 84. That's the Ghostbusters Gremlins. Summer's a huge
Star Trek
one.
3.
Temple of Doom. It's
Red Dawn.
That's a very big one, which I imagine will
Red
get
Dawn.
brought up.
Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah. Which I'm not against that movie. I know there's a lot of people that are against that movie.
Hey,
My personal one is 90 or 89. That was a big summer for me at the movies. So
1989, another summer. Sound of the Funky Drum.
yeah.
But yeah, Batman. Do the right thing.
I'd get to talk about Batman for the 957,000th time on the internet and on this podcast. So I'd be down for that.
Yeah, do the right thing. I used to teach in film classes, and man, is that super interesting. And then Lethal Weapon 2, Star Trek,
Karate Kid 3
5.
or Karate Kid 2 or 3, one of them. Yeah, it's
Last Crusade.
License to Kill. Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, this is the summer made me a big movie fan. But in 2015, the Monday episode, here's the movies we talked about, Troy. The Vatican Tapes. It's a found footage horror movie.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. Paper Towns.
Oh, interesting.
Southpaw. Any thoughts on those? No?
No, I don't think I've seen any. I read the book Paper Towns, but I've never seen.
And lastly,
John Green, Indianapolis author.
yes, Pixels.
Oh, I have seen Pixels.
Okay, well, our music video today is Can't Feel My Face, the third single from the sophomore album by The Weeknd. The album's called Beauty Behind the Madness. It also features Often, In the Night, and Acquainted, and The Hills, which we'll be talking about that music video later on in this Summer of series. It's actually, spoiler, it's the last video in the Summer of series with Pres Maxson. And this Can't Feel My Face, though, peaked at number 1 on the Hot 100. It is a certified diamond in sales with over 10 million copies. Rolling Stone and Billboard critics called this the best song of 2015. Spotify named it the U.S. 2015 Song of the Summer. It was nominated for 2 Grammys, Record of the Year and Best Pop Solo Performance. The song, obviously about cocaine, but The Weeknd has a funny quote saying, I just won a new award for a kids show talking about a face numbing off a bag of blow. And lastly, this song was a revelation and being compared to Michael Jackson in terms of what this is. So, Troy, let's talk about Can't Feel My Face.
If you are older than us and you are not certain what the kids mean when they say that something is an absolute banger, this is the song for you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just an incredible piece of pop music. And the Michael Jackson comparison is well earned, and not just the dancing he does on stage in the video, which is very MJ influenced, but just the top-notch production. When Brandon and I discussed Bad Blood, we talked about the Swedish producer Max Martin, and he was one of the songwriters and producers of this.
Mm-hmm.
He co-produced this song, but he co-wrote. There were five writers that worked on it, which I imagine is because people were handling different portions of it. Because there you have a very distinct intro section that sets up the chorus and the regular verse structure, and then you've got all the different levels of keyboard and programming going on in this. So there's, it's one of those things that maybe could actually justify multiple writers because if they're collaborating on the overall sound of
Yes.
it. But both sounded like things that were on the radio at the time and like nothing else that was on the radio
Mm-hmm.
at the time because, Weeknd keeps pushing innovative pop stuff at this point. And then as he goes around, it's 5 years later, Blinding Lights.
Mm-hmm.
The running gag was at one point he said, I want to make a great Depeche Mode album. And I'm like, well, God damn it, he did. But you recognize some of the influences in here. Obviously, the Swedish pop, Michael Jackson. It is just start to finish an excellent pop song.
Oh yeah, this thing's amazing. Like I remember in 2015 came out, I was like, "Holy crap! I like a new artist a lot." Like this is great. And there was a point where another song we talked about prior in the summer, "Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance." You would hear
Oh yeah,
these back to back on the radio and be like, "Is pop music going like taking an awesome turn right now?" Because I mean, it sounded like music that was in that 80s to 90s crossover period of pop.
yeah.
And I was, down like that, that kind of like Fine Young Cannibals, Michael Jackson type sounds going on. And
Information Society.
yes, yes, like you hear it's just like, whoa, we took this is like, it's not throwback where they're both songs are not throwback where they're like really trying to tug at those strings. They're inspired and they're doing something new with the throwback at the same time, and it's awesome. And this song is just you couldn't get enough. I still can't get enough of it. Like it's not tiresome.
Yeah, another maybe a little bit earlier than this by a couple of years, but the Neon Trees were doing some of that kind of stuff too.
Hmm.
This is retro inspired, but still new. And I this felt really new, even if it had a touch of familiar with it. But it's like the familiar being, oh yeah, this reminds me of other good stuff.
Yeah.
Is it? But it is. I like.
Was this
I
kind of
like
like
this
there was
stuff.
that was it the band M83? Was that the one? They were doing kind of
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
this wheelhouse, I think, but they're a bit before the weekend, but
yeah. Well, I have a lot of opinions on how songs start.
hmm
And I like a wide variety of different starts. I mean, there's always like a real, immediate attack or whatever, but kind of the subtlety of this at the beginning, is just it's a slow build and then, you know, into it. And then when
yeah.
the into it part, it sticks with it. It kind of takes a little dip at the end right before the upswing. But it's very smartly deployed.
Right, yeah. And Weekend will go on to be like this guy, like he really has an operatic nature to his songs and stuff. Like he sees a big picture, like even through pop and stuff, where it's kind of like I hate to compare him to Meatloaf, but Meatloaf kind of saw his songs as an adventure in a way, and it's kind of where
Yeah.
my mind's going to, where there's more to it. He sees it as an act one, act two, act three, rather than verse, chorus.
Yeah, and you're not going to get a knock from me on Meatloaf because he did all his best stuff with Jim Steinman, who is a
Hmm.
absolute champion writer and producer, and did a whole lot of stuff that, the audience will be familiar with, even if they don't know, like Total Eclipse of the Heart and things. They're all operatic
Yeah. Well,
music
it's like,
records.
yeah, it's very in that nature. Like my son, he's just been getting recently into Radiohead a
Ah,
bunch, and we've been doing some drive around with like album listening, and we did OK Computer, and he for some reason hadn't come across, like he'd listened to some songs on Spotify. I'm like, no, you really got to listen to the albums. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing with them is you'll have a bigger appreciation to where a song fits in their, and Paranoid Android blew him away. And he hadn't come across that one. I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's very much in that vein of your Bohemian Rhapsody, Stairway to Heavens, and like, I was like, there's this guy Meatloaf, man. His songs they were a journey. They were
Yep.
different, it's not pop music like you come to get used to it. And uh it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We all wish to live, we always live for that past, but I'm like, no, I lived through a Stairway to Heaven. It was Paranoid Andrew. That song is structured in such a crazy way. Um, but yeah, The Weeknd definitely has that vibe with his music for sure. And
Yeah.
and then when you like he released that concert on Max, and I was watching, I'm like, man, this guy goes for it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is kind of amazing about the video is that it's playing with the notion of audience because with the exception of the female lead, the sensible female lead, everybody is acting bored.
Mhm.
And then when he gets set on fire and the crowd just explodes and he's
Oh yeah.
dancing on fire, is it says a lot about attention span and audience and
Mhm.
different things than what the song itself lyrically is saying.
Yeah, the woman is Chanel Iman, played
Yeah.
by it, and it's directed by Grant Singer, and he does a bunch of Weekend videos, including The Hills, which I mentioned we are talking about later. Summer he did Sam Smith, Lord, Shawn Mendes. He did the Zayn and Taylor Swift music video. He did the Netflix movie Reptile 2 years ago that had Benicio del Toro, Justin Timberlake, and Alicia Silverstone. Um, I think with the video, like compared to what Weekend does later, simplicity. Very he's let
Yeah.
the song and him sell the damn thing. Like, um, he's a big guy into like theatric cinematics that the music transcends to, but like here it's quite bare, and I think it's beneficial
Yeah.
because we're like, I think this is one of the first songs a lot of people have probably ever heard from The Weeknd because this was like his big jump,
Yeah.
and like just showing like him singing, him dancing, the fire, and like that's just the perfect launching point to break out with more.
Yeah. And I also like the video starts with that tight close up,
Hmm.
which almost feels like an introduction, though it wasn't his first single.
No, this is his second album. This is
Yeah.
like the third single from this. There's other songs, but like this one launches him, and then like Blinding Lights like confirms it. Like it's just like
Yeah. Because
boom.
he's got this and then like Starboy's after it, like
Yep,
eight,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then Blinding Lights. And
Yes,
which
Starboy
Blinding
Eight.
Lights, if I'm not mistaken, is the most streamed song ever.
Yeah, because this one did over 1 billion views on YouTube, and it's the third most. Well, no, this is the third most for him behind The Hills and Starboy. But Blinding Lights probably went beyond that. This probably hasn't. This info probably hasn't been updated. But
Yeah,
yeah, because
I did an article a couple of years ago for the Post that
hmm
was about the recalibration of um, what the most listened to songs are with streaming added. And
okay,
Blinding Lights was like crushing
yeah.
everything in its path.
Jeez. And we gotta remember Weekend too also did a Super Bowl halftime show. He did the
Yeah.
COVID one, and it was awesome. And I think and it was it's funny though, it was he thought about the people at home watching it more than he did the people at the stadium. Cause like he
Yeah.
went through a tunnel and all sort like he had a fucking vision for this thing. I liked it. I know people were weird on there. Everybody hates the halftime show already. For next year, I don't know who's performing it. They already hate it. Just saying. They've already
Yeah.
got a problem with it.
Well, and it's interesting also in that he hurts himself in his videos a lot.
Yeah.
He gets set on fire, he gets a shit beat out of him in blinding light. He's
Hmm.
got um, you know, he was part of the creative team on the Idol on HBO, and that's
Oh yeah, that
weird. But
he did
he's got that new movie coming out as well.
he's got a new
Uh,
movie with Jenna Ortega. He did Uncut Gems where he played
yeah.
himself. himself in his club days. That's where he played, because it was during it was the Celtics playoffs when Garnett was on the Celtics back then. So it was probably early 2010s. I think I forget what year that takes place, but
Yeah.
it's oddly specific when that movie takes place. But yeah, he's himself in that movie. But yeah, he's very, very talented dude, and he's dropping the Weeknd moniker now. He's like on his farewell tour of
Yeah.
that. So I don't know if he wants us to call him by that. When we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, I think in this context, that's who it's by.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just like Alice Cooper is Vince, but also Alice Cooper and the band is Alice Cooper.
Right. Right. It was Prince, but then it was the artist formerly known as Prince, but we're still saying Prince by saying the
Yeah.
artist formerly known as Prince. That type of thing. But yeah, no, I definitely a big fan of the song.
Yeah.
I remember, I just remember, I'm at this time, I'm a guy with two small children, not the coolest into the pop music old man, but I knew this stuff. It was all over the place, and very much enjoyed the Weeknd. And now my son's he likes the Weeknd a lot. He has all his albums.
Yeah.
He wanted physical copies of his
Oh,
albums. That's
nice.
how much he liked him. He was like, yeah, I want the CDs. So
And just Dakota to mentioning Max Martin, that it's another bit of the importance of the producer in pop. And, some people may, shrink back at that, but honestly, going all the way back to the way Motown did it, or Giorgio Moroder,
mm-hmm.
Blondie and Donna Summer and everything, the producer's always been important.
Yeah.
Whether it's George Martin for the Beatles and everything, they're not always as relentlessly focused on the pop aspect of it. But, the Swedish guys they want to make songs that people listen to a lot.
Yeah.
And they have insane minds for engineering hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could pick any number of Max Martin songs, and by God, there's identifiable hooks in every single one of them.
Yeah. You can, there's people that just, they make radio ready stuff, and sometimes you listen to albums and like everything's radio ready. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Not that they should be, but some people are there to make those sales and get people. Well, if that first single is not going to get them the second one, or when we get to the ballad, that'll be the one that draws them in.
Oh yeah, the 80s playbook.
The 80s playbook. Yep.
The for the metal bands, the big party song, and then the ballad, and then the one that shows them that we really rock.
Yes, that one. Yeah. Oh, it's such a fun game. Selling records and stuff back in the day. All right. Well, Troy, that'll wrap you up here for summer of 2015. So until next time, which it'll be a next time, of course, where can people keep up with you?
My regular work is at SaturdayEveningPost.com, and as we said, Marvel Comics for Dummies in stores now, X-Men for Dummies presumptively coming out in December of this year.
All right, excellent. I'm on the socials at Brandon4KOHD. Always subscribe to the YouTube channel for more material. I don't like that C word.
That's right. It is the C word.
Yes. I have to work with a bunch of people that always use the C word and, podcasting and stuff like that. I'm like, no, like that's the belittling corporate office jargon. Stop it.
Yeah.
Call it material. You work hard on this. Don't do that. So next week, Scott, Aaron, and I talk the end of the tour, Beyond the Brick, a Lego brickumentary, Vacation, and Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. All that and more as the summer of 2015 at 10 continues.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.